Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Elections Rally. Tonight, you will have an opportunity to hear from every candidate who's running for office, and candidate speeches are posted on the YAG website, and the link will also be dropped in the chat box shortly, so make sure to go check those out on YouTube. And tonight, everyone will hear a question and answer period with the candidates that will be led by our lovely media directors. But before that, we will first hear from two amazing POs that will be speaking about a core value of the YMCA. So to kick us off, we have Chief Justice Kirti Madhu. Kirti, you have the floor.
Hey guys. So honesty is one of the core values of the YMCA. Honesty means to tell the truth, to act in such a way that you are worthy of trust, to have integrity, and to make sure your choices match up with your values. Honesty is an integral part of this conference. No matter what your job is during this conference, being honest in your work is key. In legislative, it is important to present the facts of your bill with honesty and to ensure that your bill creates a positive impact. As attorneys, it is important to present your case in an honest way that doesn't alter the facts of the case. When judging cases, it is important that judges make decisions.
My name is Dave Lancia, and I hope to have the honor of serving.
When judging cases, it is important that judges make decisions with integrity and without bias. The media team always has to use honesty when posting information to make sure all of their information is accurate. Honesty plays a large role that is carried throughout this conference. My one piece of advice to all of you is to remain honest in all your work and to promote integrity in your words and actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirti. We will now be hearing another core value speech from Secretary of State Anna Fairchild.
Hi guys, another Y core value is caring. I can tell right now that every single one of you guys are very caring people. You're here at Youth in Government, which shows you care about politics, about what should or shouldn't be in law and what is just. Just look at this election number. Look at the election numbers this year. They're record numbers of votes on both sides. That's us, young people caring about how this country is ran. Caring is a vital trait to have. What you care about, friends, family, sports, activities, youth, and government, it's what makes you who you are and develops your character. We all know this year is different, and you guys being here is a testament to just how much you care about this program. Remember to carry that passion with you that you have for YAG and anything else that you care about into whatever you do in life, because if you care enough, you can make a change.
Thank you very much, Anna and Kirti. Those were some excellent speeches about honesty and caring. So now it's time to move on to hearing about some of our candidates for office. So if you'll please welcome your candidates for Speaker of the House. We will have Hannah Bernard from Francis Howell High School delegation, Grace Bradley from St. Joseph's Academy delegation, Taggart Ahrens from St. Louis University High School delegation, and Alexia Nastasia from the Lindbergh High School delegation. So we will now have all of our Speaker for the House candidates join us for a little Q&A. And delegates, I would just ask that you keep your answers to the questions at about 45 seconds. Thank you.
Okay, so our first question for candidates for Speaker of the House is biggest strength as a leader and biggest weakness as a leader.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I would say that my biggest strength as a leader is my willingness to listen. I want to work with all of you and hear all of your voices, and I think YAG works best when we hear everyone's ideas and truly listen to each other. So I think that's my biggest strength. I would say my biggest weakness as a leader would be that I'm a classic overthinker. I'm always running scenarios in my head, and every time I have an important meeting, I always double check the time like a billion times to make sure I'm not late. And sure, it may make me prepared for every scenario, but sometimes it can be so exhausting.
Okay, so the second question I have is, if you had to pitch YAG to someone in 2 sentences, what would you say?
I can go. Hi, my name is Taggart Ahrens. I'm running for Speaker of the House. If I were to pitch YAG in 2 sentences, it would probably go something like, this is a program that helps form young, motivated, and intelligent individuals to be active members of their community and to bring positive change to the world.
Okay, so our next question is favorite member of One Direction.
So I'll go ahead and start, and it's kind of funny that you're asking this because I actually have a little like cutout of Zayn Malik that my best friend made for me. So I would say Zayn is my favorite member of One Direction. And I know there's some Zayn haters because I know he left the band, but he dealt with a lot of like racism and Islamophobia. And so I understand why he left, and he's really sweet and has an amazing voice. So yeah, I love them all though.
As a candidate for Speaker of the House, I pride myself in my honesty. And if I am completely honest, I am not very well versed in One Direction, regretfully. So I might have to pass on this question.
Thank you, Taggart. And then could we have Alexia and Grace answer that same question?
Hello,
Grace,
my
you're
name
up.
is Grace, and I probably go with the classic Harry answer. You really can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, I listened to them, but yeah, I would say same. Probably Harry Styles. I like his fashion, and he was probably the best singer.
And then if Alexia and Grace want to answer the question, biggest strength as a leader and biggest weakness as a leader.
I would say that my biggest strength as a leader is that I try to include everyone in the conversation, and I don't want to leave people out. I believe that diversity and inclusion are my biggest pillars. And my biggest weakness would probably be that I try to experience and participate in as much as possible. And while that may be at times a very good thing, it may overwhelm me other times. And to be transparent, I try to participate in these things, but I always make sure I have just enough on my plate so that it's not too much, but it's not too little.
Thank you, Alexia. Now if Grace would like to answer that same question, your biggest strength as a leader and your weakness.
My biggest strength would kind of go off of Alexia and Hannah's answer is that I really like to listen to everybody and include everybody. And I also like to get involved a lot and just try new things and not be scared to try something new, and just try different ideas. But also with that, my biggest weakness can be I do get overwhelmed quite easily because I would just try a bunch of new things and feel like I have to complete them, but forget to remind myself that it's okay to not be able to finish everything.
And then I believe, thank you, Grace. I think Taggart was the only candidate who's not answered that question yet. So if we could have your answer, Taggart.
Yes, of course. I would say that my biggest strength as a leader is empathy. I mean, I've learned it a lot about it through MoYAG and through getting more involved in my community, being able to see other people's perspectives and being able to respect them first and then go from there. So yeah, empathy, I would say, is my biggest strength. And kind of going off of my fellow candidates' previous answers, I would say that my biggest weakness is probably time management. I get involved in a lot of different activities, a lot of hard coursework, and often I try and give my 100% to everything, but it often doesn't work out. So.
And then media delegates, could we hear your second question again? And then the delegates can go through and answer that second question.
Yeah, the second question is, if you had to pitch YAG to someone in 2 sentences, what would that be?
I can go first. If I had to pitch it, I would say that it incorporates a lot of different aspects of real life scenarios that people are a part of, such as debate and making friends and having important experiences, while also teaching you to care for others and to hear others out and share your own voice and opinion.
YAG in 2 sentences, I would pitch it as has opened my mind to a lot of different ideas and perspectives, as well as it has taught me how to respect these different perspectives and to listen to everybody and to just take it all in and adjust what I already believe and learn to grow from there.
If I had to pitch YAG to someone who had never been in YAG before, I think I would say something along the lines of whether you belong on the floor debating legislation, trying cases in front of your peers, or reporting the unbiased truth, we have a place for you in youth and government.
And then did all of the candidates get a chance to respond to that question? Okay, so media, if we could have your next question, please.
We have one last question for the speaker. What is your favorite Minecraft animal?
I'm gonna have to go with the polar bear.
I think polar bears are cute, but I'd probably have to say dog since they're loyal and caring.
I would probably choose the dolphin because they're pretty cute, and if you follow them, they lead you to treasure.
I'd say pigmen because they're cool, I guess, and they make weird noises. I find that amusing.
Thank you very much, Speaker of the House candidates. We enjoyed listening to all of your answers. Thank you, and if you would next please welcome your candidate for Lieutenant Governor, Zoe Michaels, who is from the Francis Howell Central High School delegation.
Hey.
Okay. So the first question we have for Lieutenant Governor is, how do you plan on addressing all parts of YAG?
Well, a lot of my experience in YAG has been in the legislative branch because that's what I've done in all my years in high school. But for that branch and for my position specifically, I would hope to run an efficient, productive, engaging, and professional Senate chamber. And then on top of that, creating resources like a crash course type of thing on parliamentary procedure and things like that for people to watch before they come to the convention. I hate for newcomers to come in and be confused about everything that's happening and then have that keep them back from having their opinions shared in debate. And then as far as the media branch goes, I think it's super important that we start giving them more recognition for their hard work. One of my main ideas for that is having some kind of online forum that's more accessible and more well-known to everyone. And then to draw more traffic to that, also kind of recommending that people go and look at media resources for information as opposed to like resources put out by the actual convention. For example, instead of looking at like a list of restaurants, you could go on this website and look at like media written reviews of restaurants, and therefore their work would get more traffic. Also, I think polls are super fun. I love voting for things. So if we introduce more polls into the convention, we could vote on stuff like a set list for the Yigster and things like that. And then as far as judicial goes, I will be honest, I'm the least involved with the judicial branch, but I have reached out to people that have been in it in previous years and currently are in it. And I would look forward to working with the elected Attorney General to just make it as best as it can possibly be and help them work out any flaws that need to be.
Thank you, Zoe. And if we could have our next question from our media delegates.
Okay, so our next question is, what are your goals for YAG 2021?
I think my biggest goal, first of all, being back in person would be great, but whether we're in person again or still virtual, just re-upping the participation numbers, because I know we lost a lot of numbers this year. So just getting people to come back and getting new people to join and just kind of expressing how fun it is and how important it is. You know what they say, democracy must be learned by every generation. So just stressing that and putting the word out there and making sure as many people as possible come back so we can build back up the convention.
Thank you. And do we have any more questions for Zoe?
Yes. The next question is, what is your favorite beverage and why?
My favorite beverage, okay, this is gonna sound really boring, but I'm a huge fan of room temperature water.
Something about it is just so special. I don't like it super cold, don't like it hot because that's weird, but just room temperature water. But also if you want something exciting, I like a mixture of sweet tea, lemonade, and 7-Up. It's like a spicy Arnold Palmer. Great for the taste buds.
Okay, for our last question, what is your favorite Barbie movie?
My favorite Barbie movie, I can't give you an answer, gotta give you two. Firstly, the classic Barbie and the 12 Princesses, great movie, but also Barbie and the Fashion Fairy Tale is outstanding. I wanted that to be my future when I was younger.
Thank you very much, Zoe. So we've now had our Q&A with our Lieutenant Governor candidates. And, oh, sorry. Next, we will be welcoming our candidates for Attorney General. So first, we will have Caitlin Younghouse from the Francis Howell High School delegation, and then we will have Margaret Beimdeck from the Visitation Academy delegation, and Jack Thesey from the St. Louis University High School delegation. And if we could have the media personnel ask their question, and then if you guys could respond in that order, that would be great. So if we could go Caitlin, Margaret, and then Jack. So we will now have our first question from our media delegates. Thank you.
Okay, so our first question is, what's a problem you see with YAG and how would you address it?
Hi, so I think that a problem with YAG would be that for the judicial side of the program, the attorneys don't have a lot of access to like the trial schedule, and a lot of like it's really hard in person for everyone to get where they need to go. So I would like to make a virtual platform so that everyone has access to all of the information that they need to be successful, in addition to solving the problem of not really having a space for oral arguments to be made. So I would like to create like a room specifically set aside for orating arguments so that you're prepared when you step into the courtroom.
Hi, I'm Margaret, and one thing that I really want to change about the judicial program is I really think that at some schools, like my school especially, I'm really fortunate to have a ton of judge mentors and a ton of people who are judges, but I know that's not necessarily the case at every school, so I think it would be super beneficial to have the judge list released a little bit earlier so judges could be in communication with other schools before the trial. And then also just specific to judicial in general, sometimes the case law is super hard to interpret, and I know that at my school, we do super in-depth like breakdowns of the case law, and I think it would be super beneficial after the initial case is released to release like a one-page summary full of like the ruling and then a basic summary of the case.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jack Feisey, and my main emphasis for next year is just to get the case out earlier. I know a lot of people might have felt a little bit rushed this year, and I really know that the case is the backbone for all the great stuff that happens in the judicial program. It was made obvious last year that we have so many great judges and so many great attorneys from across the state of Missouri. And without a lot of time to really contemplate, look over, and discuss the case with everyone, it becomes a little bit harder to produce some really great arguments. So next year, I plan to put a big emphasis on getting the case at least 6 to 8 weeks before the convention.
Thank you, delegates. And if our media could now ask their next question.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
If I could be remembered for one thing, I think I'd like to be remembered for just loving on people and for really just showing kindness to everyone that I met. And hopefully they just remember me as a loving person.
I definitely agree with Caitlin on that. Definitely that. And then also just like hardworking. I'm the type of person who I give my all in everything. I'm super involved in a lot of things outside of school, and especially balancing. Like I'm a year-round competitive swimmer and I train 9 times a week. So just like balancing that with school, like being a hard worker, I think is really impressive, but also just making sure that you like stay grounded and make really good like relationships in your life too.
Yeah, I would say being decisive is something that I would like to be known as. It's one thing just making all these promises for what I'm going to do next year, but the emphasis is really on, am I going to carry through on all these things that I want to do? So being decisive is very important to me. Just carrying through with all the plans I have and making a large impact.
Okay, so our next question is, if you could jump off a 60-foot bridge into water, would you do it and why?
If I could jump off a bridge, I probably wouldn't. I'm not scared of heights, but I'm scared of getting hurt, and I feel like there's a high possibility that I would get hurt if I jumped off a 60-foot bridge.
I'm terrified of heights, so like no one could ever pay me enough money to do that. But yeah, for sure. Like I would never do that.
I think going off what I was saying about being decisive, maybe if my friends paid me enough money, if they got it on video, put that on social media or something, I might do it. Who knows? You only live once.
Thank you. And if we could now go on to our next question.
Okay, our last question is, what's your favorite late night television show?
Oh, so this is a hard one for me. I really like old shows, and so I watch a lot of Diagnosis Murder, and I love like the hospital scenes, so that'd be my show.
This is like definitely hard. Like I feel like it's between New Girl. I don't know if people have seen New Girl. But The Office is always a classic. I've seen The Office like 3 or 4 times, but those would definitely be my late night shows.
I would say probably South Park or Family Guy, maybe something like that. I really like all the satire they do, and they keep it fresh and really modern. So that would be my shows.
Thank you very much, Attorney General candidates. And we will now move on to our Secretary of State candidate. Everyone, please welcome Grace Bauru from the Francis Howell Central High School delegation. And just a gentle reminder to all candidates to please try to keep your answers closer to 45 seconds to a minute. Thank you. And with that, can we please have our first question from the media delegates?
Okay, so our first question is, participation went down this year. How do you plan on bringing it back up?
Yeah, so for sure. I plan, so if all things go as we plan and as we hope, we'll be back in person next year. So my whole mindset is that we're going to be working with our media POs, let the people know, like through our social media accounts, that it's the same MOYAG that we've grown and we've loved. Like it's still intense debate, intense court cases, and serious writing. And I really want to make sure people know when the dates are for like exciting events, things to look forward to. I also want to work and try to find another social event that we can have that's not the YAGster and that's outside of debate, where delegates can get together and kind of connect more and get to know each other more.
Our next question is, what are the principles of a good leader?
I think a principle of a good leader is someone who's willing to put themselves in a rough spot if it means bettering everyone around them. I also think that means it's someone who is honest, someone who's kind, someone who's genuine, someone who is a good listener, and especially someone who is able to take feedback and is able to use it in their work. Because if you can't take feedback as a leader, you're never going to grow, and the projects you're working on, people you're trying to help, isn't going to improve at all.
Okay, so our next question is, what is your favorite YAG memory?
My favorite YAG memory would by far be last year when I got my bill passed Senate. So I was pretty much up in the upper seats, because if you've been in the Senate, you know how there's like the upper seats up top. So I was sitting up in the upper seats and I was looking down and watching pretty much everyone in the Senate debate my bill, and watching it being voted through and everyone saying yes on it was kind of an empowering moment, because it kind of let me know that if I put my heart and all my passion and all my efforts into something that I'm really passionate about, something I really want to happen, I can make any of my goals and any of my things I want to achieve come true.
Okay, our next question is a hard one. What is your favorite type of ice cream?
That's a difficult question. There's so many good ones. I'm a sucker for a classic, just like chocolate chip. But if I'm feeling kind of like something more exciting, I might do Rocky Road or salted caramel. I love like the marshmallows in the Rocky Road, and I love the salted caramel. It's like a little sweet and salty at the same time.
Okay, and then our last question is, what was your favorite childhood toy?
I wasn't a big like toy kid growing up. I was more of the dress up in my mom's high heels type of kid growing up. So I wouldn't say it's more of a toy. It's just a lot more of dressing up and trying on little tiaras and walking around in my mom's big heels. So yeah.
Thank you very much for our Secretary of State candidate. Next, if you would please welcome our candidates for governor. Gabe Lancia from the Lindbergh High School delegation, Ben Clampett from the Mexico YMCA delegation, Henry Ledbetter from St. Louis University High School delegation, and Addison Engelmeyer from St. Joseph's Academy delegation. So if we could also go in that order as delegates are answering their questions, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so our first question is, what kind of qualities should a leader possess?
One of the most important qualities of a leader is making sure that they properly represent their constituents and the people who they're actually running for. So while, decisiveness, as Jack said, is a very important quality, it's also important to recognize the other views of the people you're running for in order to really get their views and make an informed decision on what's best for everybody. Because especially as candidates for governor, it's essential that we not only make ourselves a delegate for maybe the branch that we've previously been in for the previous years, but a branch for everybody. And that's why I know I specifically have been reaching out to members of other branches and other delegations to find out what we could, make better and improve about YAG.
Hi guys. I think one of the best qualities of a leader is being light on their feet with change. If someone can't take change and just run with it, then they're not going to be able to make like any progress in what they're planning on doing, because change happens whether we like it or not. Take COVID as an example. All our presiding officers this year, they took it, ran with it, and made this convention as best as it could possibly be. I think another good trait of being a leader is being able to take feedback, take criticism, and actually take it to heart and not just brush it off your shoulder. My dogs were playing and now they're fighting. I'm so sorry. Okay, anyways, take feedback and take it to heart and actually continue to continue with your goals and make it happen.
I think that the best qualities of a leader is first knowledgeable. Yeah, if you're gonna lead people, you got to be knowledgeable of the thing that you're leading. Second, caring. You have to really just have your heart in it, because it can't just be like you're doing this for some kind of alternative reason. And then third, hardworking. I think you got to be able to put the work in to make it a better organization or whatever you're being a leader of, or for youth in government. You got to be able to put in the work to make 2021 convention better. And then finally, accepting. You have to be able to accept other people for their opinions. You have to be able to accept your opponents if you're competing for something, or other organizations, and just being open-minded. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Addie, and a few qualities I think a leader should possess are like some of the basic virtues, like being caring, honest, kind. But I think something a leader should have is knowing when to step back and let others take initiative as well, like leading by example, letting other people know that they can also help out, because you have to work together. It's teamwork.
Thank you very much, delegates. And if we could have our next question from our PO delegates.
Okay, so as governor, how would you deal with unexpected change?
Well, first I would reach out to the POs of every branch. So, for instance, for legislative, I would reach out to the House leaders, and then I would also reach out to the Lieutenant Governor for the Senate, and then I would reach out, obviously, to the Chief Justice, Attorney General, because in order to really address a lot of conflicts that arise, you really need a lot of specialization. And I feel like the presiding officers, which we have seen so far, had we collaborated together, I feel like we could adequately and deal with any really just situation that's we don't really see coming extremely well, just kind of like how we've been dealing with YAG this year and how we've run YAG under uh, under very unusual circumstances. So I would work hard with other POs and with other delegations to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Okay, so I would prepare for change in the fact that, like I said earlier, you can't just stop in your tracks and let it run over you. You got to take it, run with it, do as best you can with it. Know that if you do your best, it's going to be the best it can be. You got to communicate with others, make sure everyone's up to date, gather as much information as you can, just so you can be informed, have other people informed. Be a good delegator. You have to make sure everyone is up to speed with what's going on in the change. Like, I'm sure our POs had a group chat or something where they were constantly talking about what was going to be happening days before the YAG. You just have to keep everyone aware and make sure that everyone is in it for the success of whatever you're planning.
If I encounter unexpected change, like Gabe said, I would obviously reach out to everyone, make sure that everyone is in the loop. Second, I would make a detailed plan written out and sent to everyone, all the other presiding officers. And then just third, 100% communication is key. I believe that. And I think that if everyone is in communication and make sure that they all know what's going on, that the problem can be solved quickly and well.
Okay, so to deal with unexpected change, I would work with my fellow presiding officers and come up with the best course of action to tackle any obstacle or change that we would encounter. And another thing that I would try to deal with that, I would first like to keep a mindset going into YAG that knowing that unexpected change will happen and you have to be ready for anything that comes at you. So knowing that we might face an obstacle, things might be flipped upside down. That's something I'd like to keep in mind. And then if we face that obstacle, being able to work with each other and communicate well and all be on the same page.
Thank you, delegates. And if our media personnel could share our next question.
Our next question is, who's your favorite TikToker and why?
I don't really know many TikTokers, I guess. Man, you kind of caught me off guard. I don't know. The only ones I know are Addison Rae and Charlie D'Amelio. So those are just the stereotypical ones. I really don't know. Take a good look at me. Do you think I watch TikTok? Judge that for yourself.
Okay, guys, I don't watch TikTok constantly or anything, but and I don't really have specific people I like. Like, I have like the main people that people like. I'm saying like a lot. Sorry about that. I have like Charlie D'Amelio is really nice. Like, she's cool. She has really good dance videos, obviously. But honestly, I watch a lot of like art, and I like to watch the clay whenever they make the clay pots and stuff. I know that's kind of weird, and like all those cooking videos, I think those are so cool. But I mean, that's basically what it's on my TikTok For You page.
Well, this is a hard one. I think that my favorite TikToker, well, I follow a ton of people. Probably, if any of you have heard of him, he's actually from St. Louis, Nick Ray. He's really just positive and just good, I don't know, wholesome content. And like, it's just, good to watch, and he's a very positive person. Also, YAG, he used to be Angry Reactions, another really positive person. Like, yeah, I really like just positive TikTokers, make me happy scrolling through.
So unlike my other candidates, coming up with a favorite TikToker wasn't that much of a challenge because I am a little TikTok obsessed, I'll admit it. But my favorite TikToker, I guess his mom runs his account. I definitely have to go with Baby Franklin. Literally the cutest and most unproblematic person you could choose. He's so sweet. He's so happy. Like their family is so perfect. Like I could watch like little Baby Franklin all day. He's the best TikToker of all.
Thank you, delegates. And now we'll have our final question.
Okay, our last question is, what is your favorite type of milk and why?
Sorry, I didn't realize I had myself on mute. Chocolate milk is probably objectively the best milk. I stand by that answer. I don't know, I don't really drink regular milk. Chocolate milk has just always been the way to go, no matter what you're having it with.
Honestly, in my opinion, there's a difference between school milk and regular milk, but my school milk choice is definitely strawberry. Every single day, like elementary, middle school, high school. Actually, we don't have it very often in high school, but if we have it, strawberry milk all the way. But if I'm not in school, I usually go for some chocolate milk, but not powdered because it's just not the same. You got to get the syrup or the pre-made chocolate milk. If it's the bunny one, Nesquik, that's what it's called. If it's Nesquik, you got me. I'm good.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Ben that Nesquik chocolate milk powder, that's the best. But theoretical milk, I've always wanted to try the Star Wars blue milk. Just wanted to see what it was. Yeah, it's always been my dream. Yeah.
Me and Gabe really are on the same page here. You can't go wrong with a good glass of chocolate milk, like really cold. You can have it for breakfast, in the middle of the day, at dinner time with cookies, anything. Like chocolate milk always is so good, but it can't be too thick. It has to be cold, and it either has to be like Nesquik or like, yeah, that's it, only Nesquik.
Thank you very much, delegates. We really enjoyed learning about each and every one of you. So thank you for taking the time to join us on this call. And thank you, media personnel, for moderating for us. So now we will take a moment to hear from our Secretary of State, Anna Fairchild, who will talk to you guys a little bit about the election process.
Okay, guys. So tomorrow night, Friday night, around 10 p.m., you're going to get an email, and it's gonna have an ID code for you to vote. And that's so like we don't have any voter fraud, like you have your specific ID, so only you can vote with the email. And that election, the polls will close at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. If runoffs are needed, then they'll be at 9:30 during morning briefings, and then the winners will be announced during closing session.
Thank you very much, Anna. So before we officially adjourn for the day, I'd just like to address you all briefly and talk a little bit about what we accomplished today and what we have yet to accomplish tomorrow and on Saturday. So I was able to hop into a lot of Zooms, and I know that the judicial program spent the day arguing whether or not it's really constitutional for the Merle County to open all their meetings with a prayer. And I had the opportunity to watch you guys consider every little nitpickety aspect of the case and to decide whether or not certain aspects were relevant based on them being constitutional or unconstitutional. And something really neat that you guys all did today was you tried both sides of a case. And it's really important to be able to put yourself into the shoes of both a plaintiff and a respondent, because you really can't understand the fundamentals of an argument until you know what both sides are going to argue and what it's like to be on both sides of the case. So I thought you all did an amazing job, and I can't wait to watch some more trials tomorrow. And then everyone in the legislative program, I know you guys all had the chance to present your bills today and you all debated at length. And I know that during my time in the legislative Zooms, sometimes I would get that feeling, that head rush where you hear a topic and you really want to talk about it, and then you get to frantically scribble down all of your thoughts and raise your hand to debate. So I know however you experience that feeling or whatever you really love about the legislative program, I just hope that you were able to get that joy out of debating bills today. And I'm really excited. I saw a lot of energy today, and I'm really excited to see which bills go to the chambers tomorrow. And I can't wait to see some of them on my desk tomorrow as well. And thank you, media delegates, for putting together all of our promotional materials and for running the majority of this election rally. We really appreciate it and keep up the good work. Also, quick shout out to the YAG Instagram. Make sure you guys are going to follow Mo YMCA YAG, and that way you can keep up with everything going on in the media side of things. And if you could also join the YAG GroupMe, you definitely don't want to miss out on that opportunity. And so I can send that into the chat. And with that, I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces tomorrow. And now I'd encourage everyone to go stretch, maybe have a snack, and definitely get some sleep. So go catch some Z's. And with that, I declare that this meeting is officially adjourned.